Well, hello everyone. My name is Jesse Hudgins for WONC, and I'm very excited here today because we have Sid of Grade 2, a really awesome band that I found over the past year and just have been so excited for all of their new music. And yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for being here and taking the time to do this.
Oh yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So obviously we have the new album. Talk about it. Very exciting. It's gonna be coming out less than a month, April 3rd. It's been 3 years since the last record. What's changed?
Oh, I tell you, the fact that 3 years has passed is just crazy. It feels like blink of an eye and it's gone because the amount of touring that happened in between the two records, you kind of lose track of time. You're in your own little bubble
Yeah.
for so many weeks on end. Then you go back home and live your normal life, and then suddenly it's October, November again, and it's like, whoa, hang on, this year's nearly done.
Yeah.
So to come back round to record the next record, which is now, yeah, talk about it, feels, I guess, a little surreal that
Mhm.
that much time has passed, and now we're here doing another record, all a little bit older now. I don't know, it's different. It was a different approach. We did this one back in England, so we're in
Okay.
like home soil again,
Yeah.
kind of around a lot more familiarities. So it was kind of nice to kind of have that again, I guess. Like not so much like okay, because the previous two records we did in America, in
Yeah.
LA, and it was more okay. We're here for this amount of time. It has to be finished in this time frame because we've travelled so far to do
Yeah.
it. Whereas this time around, it was like, well, we're only 2 hours away from home. Worst case scenario, we could come back next week and do it again. Like, not that we wanted to do that. We were still on a real time crunch, but it was
Yeah.
just, I guess, a bit more relaxed this time around.
So, with that being said, being home for this record, would you say that brought different inspirations to this record in the writing of it?
I would say yes, but also more what was going on the last couple of years and being around different people, different cultures, and hearing different music as well become a
Yeah.
bit more of an influence. Like, for example, I've been immersed in Latin culture and a lot of like the super, like, not just emotional, but the way it's like the lyrics transcend within that music, how it connects to everyone. And I was
Hmm.
having like it translated to me. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I kind of took that home and was trying to write, for example, the first single, "Hanging On to You." Like, okay, so where's the punk love songs, and how can I create this mix of trying to put these two things together and making our own sound? So I think we had that, and then, um, for example, Jacob and Jack went to see the Prodigy, so then we have like that kind of influence coming in. Yeah, there was. It came from a lot more different angles this time around, rather than just okay, we're going to write a punk record that's going to be straight down the middle. It was trying to bring in a lot more different tones, sounds, and I think yeah, when you're on English soil, you're automatically trying to channel that. Like, okay, this has to be as like British as we could possibly make it, like without going like too cliche. Like we really
Yeah.
tried to hone in on that, so that was cool too.
So now that you mentioned that about trying to channel that like Latin energy into hanging on to you, it really does click with me. Arguably my favorite single released thus far. Every ounce of it so catchy and just sticks with you for a long time after you listen to it. I know it's in constant rotation for me. Was there any aspect of that song to where you guys were like, this has got to be the lead single?
We were so there was actually a B side that isn't on the album that was the original kind of love song that we wrote that was called "Now I'm Different," and that one was the one we kind of championed. It was like, oh, this is like something different. This is like maybe this is like the kind of direction we're heading. And then "Hanging On to You" came around, and we all loved it, but we didn't know if it was too on the nose. It was like the opening, like it was the opening verse is more like a bridge with how repetitive the "When I Look in Her Eyes" line
Yeah.
is. We were like, oh, we were like, we all loved it instantly. We're like, yeah, this is like super catchy. Like we're all singing it like in the van, like on the way to like rehearsal.
Kind of hard not to.
Yeah, but it was just like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna sit with people listening to us already. Like, not to say that you're writing to please like everyone, but there's always going to be that feeling of just like, well, I hope this connects
Yeah.
with someone. We're like, maybe this is a bit on the nose for a love song. Like, this is really like on the nose. And then we recorded it, and it was the first track we actually did for the album.
Oh, okay.
So we jumped straight into that one because we had played it live. Oh, God, over a year ago. We kind of give it a bit of a trial run. We went on tour with this amazing band in Germany called Sonderschul, whose audience had no idea who we were. We jumped in like super last minute. They were like amazing enough to have us. Their shows were already sold out.
Oh,
So it was
wow.
like, okay, well, if we're ever going to try a new song, this is the time. Like, nobody knows it's a new song. Like, let's just do it. And from the reaction of that point, it's like, okay, yeah, this is a cool song. So let's track it, see how we get on. And I think yeah, it hit from that moment. I was like, all right, yeah, this is the single.
Yeah, no, I think what works so well about it is the relatability because I think everybody can relate to that feeling of just want really being into somebody and holding on to them. And I think that's to me why the song just works so well, on top of its catchiness, of course.
Yeah, that's it. It's like trying to relate it so that anyone can relate to their person, like,
Yeah.
but everyone's been in the situation where I don't know. You said you were going to be somewhere and you're late, and it's like now they're like mad at you, and it's like that's why that relatability is. I was like, I promise I'll get it right, but I might fuck it up every now and then. Like,
Hell yeah.
just trying to get that, and it's like just the honesty of it, really. Like trying to make sure it hit in that sense.
Yeah, no, I really do think it does. So you mentioned the other song that was originally championed to be a single. And obviously we've heard two other tracks from this album. Are there any songs on the album that you're specifically excited to reveal that you guys haven't yet?
Oh, so we have a single that's out tomorrow, which is
Ooh.
called "Better Today." That's one that Jack sings lead vocal on. That one, I really love how that came together as well. It's got similar to Hanging On To You with like the big anthemic style riff.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of same feel. So I'd say it's in a similar suit really of that song, but it's just very poetic, very poetic
Okay.
lyrics, and I think Jack nailed it with his delivery, and it's one that I don't know. It's got that big sing along feeling again as well. Like that's
Hmm.
kind of what we were trying to achieve with a lot of songs. Is like that, like fist in air, like we're all like together in the room singing it. So I'd say that's one I'm really excited to get out. And there's another song that we really tried something different. It's called Crash and Burn,
Okay.
and it's where basically all the instruments drop out of the chorus, and
Oh,
it's. I mean, there is a chord that rings, but it's almost just a vocal chorus. So
interesting. Okay.
really took it in a different direction, and the idea sparked. This is where like the influences come from, like places where you probably don't expect. I'm sure you've heard the song "Messy" by Lola Young, the one that was on the radio constantly. She had another track on her album, which I believe is called "Wish You Were Dead," and they hit this pre-chorus in it where it's only keys and her vocal. And I remember being like, "Oh, that's actually kind of cool." I was like, "Wonder if you could do that like as a main chorus in a pretty upbeat punk song, like just kind of drop out to this big like thing." So we had to like rework it in our style, see if this was like a musical idea that would even work, like
Yeah.
hitting just the vocal. And we did it in rehearsal. It was like, oh, I don't know, feels a little weird. Like never done that before. But again, like sometimes when you're in the studio, things come to life a little bit more. You're able to experiment a bit more with vocal delivery. And once we like found a specific spot where me and Jack had hit, a note that works for both of us. It was like, oh well, this could be quite cool. Took a minute to like get used to hearing it, but I think that's kind of like a back pocket track that's like sat in the arsenal that I think people are going to enjoy.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to hear it. So you were mentioning that Jack's gonna be singing vocals on that one. Where does the discussion start of who's gonna be singing what song?
Typically, it's whoever wrote it will sing it like off the bat. That's kind of the easiest way to do it, but that isn't always how it works. Sometimes, for example, I'll end up writing and it doesn't suit me. It's like, ah, this isn't. I can't deliver it the way I'm hearing it. And then Jack will just give it one go, and it's like, that's the one. And I was like, right, this is your verse. And that's I think another thing when it comes to like verse splits. There's some songs that just become a bit more evident. It's like you want either the second verse or the bridge to just have a change of sound, just to keep the listener interested right until the end. I think that's like the whole idea with the album as well. It's like the song just builds on every track from start to finish. It doesn't feel that you kind of hit this middle point where it like flattens out. You want to keep it moving, keep like reach this high finishing point. And I think when we do those vocal splits, that works like that too.
Yeah. So I noticed on this record that you guys have a song called "Talk About It." What came first, the song or the album name?
Well, so Talk About It actually has three different takes on that song.
Oh.
It was originally called Communication, which was very Clash inspired, bit more mid tempo, like kind of a, I don't even know where else we drew inspiration from, but I would say, yeah, it was very Clash sounding. And then it went more towards another version called Bottled Up that was a bit more like a GBH, like 80s punk kind of style. And then we kind of sat on it. It was like neither of them felt like it was finished. They were kind of like, okay, yeah, these ideas are cool. And then the session was booked in. We didn't have an album title, and it was like, okay, right, we kind of need to think about where this album's heading. And I'm not sure if you remember like those wind up toys with the teeth that like chatter along.
Yes.
But for some reason, I was walking my dog one day and I was listening back for our demos, listening to the communication demo. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we had an album cover with like red chattering teeth on it? I was like, oh, maybe that'd be cool. I was like, talk about it. Yeah, that could be cool. So I texted the guys, I was like, right, brainwave. I've got this idea. Chattering teeth, talk about it. That's the album title. And I was like, maybe we'll revisit this song. Revisited the song, didn't quite work out, but when you're under pressure knowing you're going to go in the studio, sometimes there's like a moment of magic where you can kind of rewrite a song in 30 minutes. And fortunately, Jack pulled out a chord progression that was just classic rock and roll kind of feel. So this is it. We've got the song. I just pieced together some of the old lyrics that we had, rewrote a couple of little bits, and it just summarized the whole record. I feel like as a whole, and that, well, there's when you're all in agreement. Like the second that came up, finished the song, and came up as the title, I was like, yeah, this feels like the complete theme, and that's always like a good feeling when you know it's like almost signed and sealed. It's like, okay, we've got it now. Like we were on track to having a record.
So you mentioned like the chattering teeth is like your visual for the album cover. Is that kind of where this cover ended up evolving into?
Yes, so I was following Jesse's Instagram, who did the artwork, um, and he came across my feed because he did an A to Z of hardcore records, but he redesigned all the covers like in the style that he wanted to do. I was like, oh, this is sick. Like, kind of keep tabs on what he's up to. And I hit him up. I was just like, oh, have you got any availability to potentially work on an album project? I pitched the idea, and he was honest. He was like, I'm not really that style of designer. I'm more like photo manipulation, kind of that style. So he took my idea and repitched it back to me with his vision, I was like, okay, yeah, I think that makes a bit more sense with the record. Like, it seems like it will fit more as an image to the record. And as soon as he delivered the idea, it was the same moment between all three of us. It was like, yeah, that's taken the idea, ran with it, and really like honed it into where I guess we saw it, and I felt like a finished piece.
Well, I mean, it definitely sticks out. It's an eye catcher, I would have to say. I mean, you have the teeth, the broken tooth, and then if you zoom in or look closer, you got the name. It's definitely something I would say is, again, eye catching.
Yeah, that was definitely the goal. I feel like the last two albums we had, we both had separate band photos on each. So it definitely needed to be a graphic of sorts. But that's always a tough decision too. It's like that moment when you finish a song, you feel like you're done. And it's like, okay, cool. And then, for example, you'll get to a point like now when you talk about the album, it's like, okay, describe the song. It's like, I have no idea. Like I wrote it, but I don't know. And it's the same when it comes to the artwork. Sometimes you feel like you have an idea and you don't. And then fortunately Jesse came through and really, yeah, got it spot on.
I think so. So this is the third release under Hellcat, right?
That's right, yeah.
What's that relationship looked like over the years?
Oh, it's been crazy because we went through the pandemic together as well. So that was like a bit of a crazy time to figure out where everything was heading. But it's been cool. We're mostly working with the same people at the label since when we started, which is cool. So we've like really got to know each other over the years. There's the main office that's out in LA, but there's also a European office. So we get to go between the two. We're more frequently at the European office. We have a solid relationships with both. But it's also there's always going to be the pinch me moment from being a fan of like pretty much all the bands that have ever been on the label. They give them the boot comps, the Punkorama comps. So that's always like in the back of my mind as well. It's like, wow, how crazy is this? When you get like the finished products of like the LP in your hand and the logos on the back, it's like, whoa, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, it's really cool to hear that there's almost like a sense of family with how it's been with you guys and them, especially because of the pandemic. Because if I remember correctly, you guys were about to go on tour or were in the midst when the
Yeah,
pandemic
we were
really
out
hit.
here. Yeah, it was the crazy time. We flew out to Canada, played one show in Ottawa, and then I think we had 52 shows cancelled
Wow.
across the US. It was a big headache actually, and we had to like call in a lot of help because everything that we had to get shipped to Canada to start the tour, and then we had to leave. So
Yeah.
then we had to basically call on other people to really be like a lifeline of we have all of this merch, our gear, the van that we've just had to rent. Like we're being told our border's about to shut, we have to leave. And people really came through and helped us out. And I think that again solidified a lot of friendships, relationships, and working relationships too. You automatically notice that okay, well now these are people I can rely on, I can trust. They've helped me in the moment of need that I never thought I was going to be in, but here I
Literally.
am. So it was a wild ride at that time.
Sounds like it. I noticed with the release pattern of the singles for this record and the announcement of the album, it was staggered very similarly to your self-titled album. Is that a pattern you guys really enjoyed on the self-titled album and wanted to bring to this one?
I think we do like rolling out multiple singles just to kind of give everyone a bit of a taste of what's to come rather than, oh, here's one or two tracks. And then you're kind of buying an album on a bit of a gamble of like, well, I like this one and now I've got to take a risk on like 15 songs that I might hate. But it was also, I think, this time around because we didn't know what our touring schedule was going to be on the run up to the album. We had toured flat out for the 3 years with the last record. And then coming up to this one, by the time we had put the dates in for the single releases, it had kind of become a bit more apparent that we were going to take a break from touring.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of nice to build and then connect with everyone online talking about the singles and being like available to kind of respond to people rather than
Yeah.
being on the road and just replying with a single emoji like, cool, glad you enjoyed it. It was more we were able to chat with everyone, which has been really cool. And I feel like we've been able to connect with a lot more people. So now when we head out on the road in a couple of weeks, we can already see how it's been sitting with people and what they've been enjoying, and we can work on a set list to kind of cater towards that and make it
Yeah.
a proper gig.
So before getting into the touring area with you guys going on that tour, speaking on the reaction online and replying to that, how has it felt seeing a lot of the reaction to these singles leading up to the album announcement?
I think going back to hanging on to you, I think that was a nervy moment. Like, let's see how people are feeling about it. But it's been amazing. It's been really cool just to connect with people that have been listening from like the beginning to people that have just discovered us through one of those three singles. It's always cool to hear what other people think of it. You know, like you sit on these songs, you listen to them 100 times while they're being mixed, and then you kind of go a bit cold turkey on them. It's like, okay, really need to let this sit for a while. So then to see how other people connect is, it's just cool to see that like something how you're feeling what you wrote and seeing it connect with someone else and them putting their perspective on each track
Mm.
is it's just cool to see. It's like always cool to chat with people. I say, oh yeah, I've been going through this at the moment, and this song resonated with me, and it's like crazy, always crazy.
Well, I could say for us here at WONC, specifically on our show, What's Fresh, that where we highlight new music, we first found you guys through Cutthroat.
Oh,
We found you
nice.
guys through that one, and I remember listening to that and just being like, yes, yes. I
That's sick.
submitted it to the other two co-hosts, and I'm like, guys, we got to play it. And
Oh,
we
so
absolutely
cool.
loved it here. And when I went back to hanging on to you, I was like, oh my God, it gets better.
Oh man, that's wicked. Yeah, Cutthroat was almost the curveball because where we came out with the like slightly slow anthemic feel, I think people automatically feel that that's how the whole record's going to be. So we wanted to be like swift on the ball of like, well, actually no, we still have these like 1 minute 30 songs
Yeah.
in the bank and they're still coming strong. So it's cool to like, I guess, demonstrate different styles within the records as well. And it's been cool to see how the quick ones sit with people as well.
Well, I think it's just really cool that you guys were so willing to work with that peak and valley of the record, playing with those different, again, peaks and valleys and seeing how that was going to work with the crowd.
Yeah, definitely. I guess keep everyone on their toes so they don't know what's coming next.
Yeah.
It keeps it fun.
No, for sure. So you guys obviously have a big European tour that will be spanning from March to May coming up with some dates supporting Stomper 98. Are there any dates you're excited for? Maybe some new locations that you guys haven't been to yet?
Ooh, we've never been to Nottingham in England, which is really surprising. I don't know how after all these years we've never been through there. I'm really excited for that one. We're going back to Denmark for the first time in oh, a couple of years, actually, 3, 4 years maybe.
Wow.
Um, the Netherlands has been solid the last couple of years, so I'm really excited for those shows. And then Germany has just always been good to us. It's one of those places there's we've been traveling there since we were like 15, I think. So it's almost got the second home title right there. So we love it out there and really excited to get back out there too.
You know, you were just saying that you've been doing this since you were 15, which is just crazy to think about. You know,
Yeah.
that's like the punk dream, I guess.
Oh man, it's been a ride. It's like one of those things. It's funny because coming out to America specifically and having to explain our band name, being grade two, and so yeah, that's what you say when you go to barbers for a buzz cut. And it's like I never would have imagined that I would be telling that story like 12 years later. I don't. I think we all kind of feel the same way about that. Like when the band started, I don't think we would have seen it getting a year down the line, let alone how far it has. So it's, yeah, wild ride.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
So, for fellow fans in the state like myself, is there any potential for U.S. visit anytime soon?
Well, I think I can say this on an interview, but our visa's just got approved this week. So we are in planning right now.
Awesome.
And then, yeah, I mean, hopefully the original plan was the summer, but I think it might end up being the tail end of late summer that we'll be back out here. If all goes to plan.
All goes to plan, fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, we really want to get back out here. It's been a couple of years now, so we're ready to get back out this way.
Well, I know I will be in line for tickets as soon as that
Oh yeah,
happens.
man.
So it's crazy because you guys have been on tour with like Rancid, Social Distortion, fellow label mates, The Interrupters, and you guys even did a show with Guns N' Roses. Are
Yeah, yeah.
there any bands on that wish list of like, oh, it would be cool to open to them, like that you guys haven't
Oh,
gotten to yet?
I'd say sticking down the classic punk route, I'd say Bad Religion. I'd love to play with them. It's yeah, we've not had the chance to share the stage with them yet. Rise Against would be another one. Be sick to play with them. Um, oh man, I think speaking for the other guys, going back to the Prodigy. I think if there was ever a crossover there, they'd love to play with them. Jack White as well. Our drummer's a
Ooh,
huge Jack White fan, so that would be a cool crossover.
he's great live.
Yeah, actually, I've never seen him, so I don't know why I said yeah, but I would love to. I've just seen videos, and I mean, I've watched countless videos with our drummer. He's like, you got to watch this one and this one, so I'm pretty familiar. Um, oh, I don't know, and then yeah, I guess GBH would be another one. We've only ever played festivals together, but
Mm,
I saw them in LA at the Regent at the tail end of last year, and it was incredible, so cool. So I would love to share the stage with them, but too many bands. Any
yeah.
opportunity to play, like we're there, we're there.
So how did that Guns N' Roses show come along?
That is a very good question. Do you know what? To be honest, it was a bit of a crazy one. We saw the email and automatically was like, "This is spam. There is no way this is like a legit offer." So we kind of sat on it for like probably a day or two, and I was like, "Do you know what? I'm going to double check this, like, see if this is like announced." It's like, they are actually playing in London. So like, we got back and was like, maybe we should check if this is a legit offer, and it was. It was like, oh my god, and it was yeah, one of those kind of. I don't even when we posted the flyer for that show, I was like, this is crazy. You have like people that we went to school with, like family, friends, reach out like, we've seen your name on that poster. Is this real? It's like, I think so. We're gonna go and like check out if it is. And yeah, it was such a cool experience. Like we closed out one of the stages just before Guns N' Roses went on, so that was a cool moment too. It's like everyone as they're flocking towards the main stage was able to stop, catch our set for 40 minutes, and it was able to create a little bit of chaos amongst the crowd. It was
Sure.
just got a couple of pits going. Yeah, and I think like we walked off that stage that day. It was a proud moment. It was like, oh, we we're here. Like, how crazy is that?
That's crazy that you guys just randomly got that email and were like, "Oh, you do you want to open for Guns N' Roses?"
Yeah, it was a short email as well. It wasn't like crazy detail on it. So that's why I think we automatically went to like, nah, this can't be real. Like, can't be real. So yeah, I mean, lucky we went back to it because otherwise we would have missed a crazy opportunity.
Oh yeah. Would you say that's the craziest or most shocking show that you guys got to do?
It's definitely up there. But for me, I've been pretty much a lifelong Rancid fan. Grew up with them, like through my dad bringing back a Punkorama DVD when I was a kid, and I remember like getting a Sharpie, writing P and X on my knuckles, like getting down with the Salvation video. Um, So I think touring with Rancid, even though we work with Tim and we've already, that was prior to that tour. I think being on that tour was the like wow moment for me anyway. It was just like playing with your heroes kind of thing. It was
Yeah.
very surreal.
So you mentioned you guys started working with Tim before that Rancid tour. How did
Yeah.
that first interaction come about?
Well, it was actually Lars that we met first. We met Lars in 2014. So we would have only been a band for about a year.
Wow.
But he kind of was looking for just, I guess, young openers at the time. Because they were on a three-band tour package. So they already had a solid lineup of bands. It was Control, Running Riot, and Lars's project, The Old Firm Casuals.
Hmm.
Um, and we went up to Bristol to play with them, which is a couple of hours from our hometown. Um, but we all had fake IDs made just before that show, and again, we would have been, yeah, like we were still in high school at the time. We all got super drunk, and then yeah, made complete idiots of ourselves, and basically were blacklisted by Lars. He was like, "I never want to see this band again," which is obviously crazy because at the time we were just in high school having fun. Didn't really know the gig etiquette completely at this point. But fast forward a couple of years, we had played. I want to say a couple of shows with Stomper 98, and then Lars ended up joining Stomper 98 in 2017. We played a show in Berlin earlier that year, and Sebi, the singer, approached us, said, "We're going on a 10-day tour. Would love to have you guys open." It's like, hell yeah, hello, we're there. Let's do this. And then I got a call probably 2 days later, I want to say, from Sebi. He's like, "What did you guys do?" Like, he was like, "I've heard a story about you guys in Bristol." And I was like, I had no idea at this point. I was like, "What do you mean?" No, 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 everything's cool. We killed it at that show. We killed it. And then he was like, "Okay, I'll call you back." He calls me back an hour later. He's like, "Okay, I've kept you on the tour, but there is no drinking on the tour." It's like, "Sure, no worries." Like, I had no idea. And then we got to chat to Lars. Probably the second night of the tour properly, we like sat down, and he told us his perspective of the Bristol show. I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh no, I didn't realize we were that bad." And but he watched our show like the first two nights. He was like, "You've redeemed yourselves," like just messing with us. And then we got to know each other really well over those 2 weeks. Um, and then yeah, I mean, fast forward to the start of 2018, we got a call from Lars, and he was like, "I want to ask you guys if I could manage you guys, and
Wow.
then potentially have you in California to record a new record." I was like, "Whoa!" Like crazy pinch me moment.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like fell a bit quiet for I can't remember exactly how long. And then I got a call one evening when I was walking my dog. He goes, listen, no, it's not going to work out with me doing the record." I was like, "I knew it was too good to be true." He goes, "Oh, no, no, no." He goes, "Tim's going to do the record and it's going to come out on Hellcat." I was like, "What? Like, no way." Like, couldn't believe it. So then it was like, just, we basically had a year to write what became Graveyard Island,
Mhm.
which is a whole story in itself because we decided to get super experimental with our writing for some reason and started writing like 5 minute ballads. It's like no idea why we did that. But yeah, that all swiftly got honed in and we rewrote the record basically. But that was kind of how it all came about. And then we ended up meeting Tim in December of 2018, and that was when everything started. So it's
That's
been a yeah,
crazy.
it's been a crazy ride to get to where we are now, but we sure have the stories to tell.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's wild, wild.
So I saw that when you guys first started, you did a lot of covers back in the day. Are there any covers that you would either want to record for a future release or would even just want to maybe add back to your set list?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so we started playing covers because originally at the time we would have our lunch times in the music room at our high school. Our high school was like failing miserably at this point. Like we had this big transitional period where they were sorting out the schools on the Isle of Wight, and it was just a bit of chaotic for a couple of years. That was our years in high school, so we would just go in there like and kind of jam with each other, and that was where the covers started. Um, and we did actually revisit In the City by the Jam not too long ago. I want to say we were playing that a few years back, which is always a fun one to play. And I would definitely record that. It's always fun. But the Stranglers, I think, is like our pillar. That was where we were at. Like we started covering a lot of their songs, and I think Something Better Change by the Stranglers is one that would always get a vote on a revisit. And yeah, maybe one day to record. But we're talking about a new cover right now, seeing if there's one we can fit in the set that kind of mixes in with the new album. And the Undertones is a band that's in talks at the moment. Maybe an Undertones track.
Be a good choice.
Yeah, little their songs are so good. So we'll see. That's who we're talking about right now.
So you were talking about how you guys would go to the music room and just jam and have a good time. Was it in that music room where you guys started writing a lot of the originals, or was it outside of school?
So we had a friend of ours that plays drums. He actually played drums with us on tour for about a year, way back. But he used to have people around in his bedroom, and they would just jam in his bedroom, which in England is super uncommon, just because of how close all of the houses are built. So you just get
Yeah.
noise complaints after minutes. But for some reason, he would rent his bedroom to us for £2, £2, and we would rehearse in there for an hour, maybe two. And I don't think he really told his mum until a couple of weeks in. And there was one day she came up, opened the door, and was like, "Where's my son?" It's like, "Oh, he's not here. We rent the room from him." And she was like baffled at what was going on, and that was kind of the end of that. But in those couple of weeks, we wrote a 4-track demo, which we recorded, I think, in 2013. Actually, like our first year as a band. It was god awful. It was so bad. None of us had stepped foot in a studio before. We didn't know how to approach anything. I remember they put a metronome on. They were like, "Oh, we'll track to a click." We couldn't stay in time for more than 2 bars. It was so bad. But for some reason, I don't know who has it, but it keeps reappearing on YouTube, and we keep removing it. Like it's like get rid of it. But we a couple of years down the line, we did go back and we re-recorded a track called "Weekend Offender," which was the first ever song like we wrote as a band.
Yeah.
So that one is in the world, and that's on. I think that's still on Spotify. But yeah, the rest of the tracks are dead and buried, maybe to be heard in another 10 years when we can look back and not cringe.
Yeah, I was about to ask, is there any chance the other three would ever see the light of day?
Maybe at some point. There's been talks of maybe we'll do like a limited like 100 copy press for anyone that really wants to hear it. But anytime we've gone back to revisit it, it's like, oh, we should probably wait on that one.
So you were talking about like the metronome and having issues with that. I think a lot of other musicians can relate to that.
Oh yeah.
Would you say that's something like younger bands should really pay attention to before they start getting into the thick and thin of things?
I don't know. I think there's some magic to just straight live recordings as well, and that kind of like rough
Yeah.
and ready approach. I mean, even now, I'm not great at playing to a metronome. It drives me. It almost puts me off hearing that. Drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it depends, like on you as a musician as well, and what you feel comfortable with. But I think now with the options, kind of like the home studio setup, where you can have like the little interface, and you can kind of practice at home if you've got the setup,
Yeah.
is way cheaper than it was back then at that point. So for us, jumping in the studio was just seemed like a good idea, and it felt like, well, we can play with each other, like surely we'll be able to get this down. But I don't know. Maybe it was just us, but it takes a minute to get used to. Like,
Yeah.
especially, I remember hearing my voice back soloed for the first time. I was like, "What is that? Really how it sounds?" I was like, "That sucks." So whoa, and that took so long to get used to. I'm talking like a couple of records to really be like, "Okay, they're going to probably solo my vocal now. Get ready." But I mean, I guess that's just how you learn. And I think that's the one thing with our band. There was never a band prior. Everything that we've learned is kind of evident in the records. It's a timestamp of us learning either how to play a little bit better, how to be in a studio and learn a little bit more there. So it's all every record's been a learning curve
Yeah.
one way or another.
So, my last question I have for you today, if there's one thing you want people to take out of this upcoming record, what would that be?
Ooh, that is a solid question.
Thank you.
So there's a word sonder that Jack pulled up one time that means everyone's life is as complex as your own, and that word stuck with me for so long. And I think the writing of this record, I wanted to connect with people to show that everyone is going through something, everyone's been through something, and ultimately coming back to that. There's someone there to listen. There's always going to be someone there to help, or there's always going to be someone there to laugh with, to chat about, to reminisce. And I think that's the whole point of this record is just to timestamp a period of our lives. And I think it's a point that a lot of people are either in, or are about to approach, or have been through. And I think there'll be somewhere in the record something for everyone to relate to in that sense. So I think that's what I want everyone to take away. Quite wholesome.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a very
Yeah,
wholesome thing to want to
yeah,
take away from this.
yeah. Wholesome for a punk record.
Amen to that. Sometimes we need that in the scene, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it'll be relatable, but it might be just getting shouted at you.
There's nothing wrong with that. It helps nail
Yeah,
down a
yeah,
message.
exactly.
Well, again, I want to thank you so much for doing this today, taking the time out of your day to do this. Means a lot to me, means a lot to us here at FM 89 for that.
No, thank
So
you
thank
to
you.
you as well. Appreciate all of the support you've shown our band.
Of course, and we're going to continue to do that here. Again, new album, Talk About It, dropping April 3rd. Where else can people check you out?
Every streaming platform and hopefully in your town very soon.
Hopefully. Well,
Hopefully.
well, again, thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate it. But yeah,